morning, children. How do you do, my dear children? Today we are going to start with the second lesson. The name of the lesson is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. The poet is Stephen Spender. My dear children, earlier up to class 11, have you studied any poem by Stephen Spender? Have you heard of the name? My dear children, let us see in the second Flamingo chapter, the prose lesson, Lost Spring, we are talking about the exploitation of the children, the deprivation of the children, and all sort of injustice meted out to the children. That was beautifully painted or portrayed by Anit Jung in the lesson Lost Spring. Here also the same tune is continued by Stephen Spender. So, before starting, it is better that we should have some idea about the poet. So, the poet Stephen Spender, he was born in the year 1909. He was a British writer, he was a poet, essayist, and also a pacifist. So, what we see is that in his poem, he is a social scientist, he is a pacifist. So, his poems are written after the Second World War, when the world was devastated, collapsed due to the Second World War. So, after the picture is very miserable, very bleak, very dark, very murky picture is presented, and here the writer present that particular picture, and particularly we will see the writer as he is a pacifist. He is the champion of the downtrodden people, the champion of the have-nots, the champion of the poor people in the society, and the injustice that is meted out to them, he become the voice of those injustice, the inequalities, the class struggle, and therefore, we see that this particular theme reiterates or repeats in the poem of Stephen Spender. Now, my dear children, so the writer wrote many lessons on the same theme. So, you will see, so he had these books, all these books are there, his collections, dedication, the poems of dedication, the age of being, the creative element, the struggle of the modern, and an autobiography, world within world. So, these are the famous work by Stephen Spender, by Sir Stephen Spender. Now, before proceeding, let us see this title first, and before going further, we will be justifying how far this title is justified. An elementary school classroom in a slum. My dear children, so does the title give some hint about the theme? So, you have seen here, so it talks about what? It talks about the slum, it talks about the slum. That means, it is a school, it is particularly an elementary school where the basic is given to the children, that actually becomes the foundation for his future life. And this school is not the school in the elite or the aristocratic section of the society. It is not in the town or the metropolitan society. It is in the slum, which is far away from the natural surrounding, and more particularly the facilities or amenities that is provided to the higher class of people the rich class of people. Therefore, certainly this title actually gives a hint to a particular section of the society, and more particularly the children, how the children were the victim of the injustice and the social inequalities, how they have to struggle for their existence, how their condition was miserable, how their living condition, how their studies, how their school, how their physical condition, all these were so pathetic and so deplorable. And therefore, as the poet of man becomes very sympathetic and empathize with the condition of the children, and therefore writes this particular poem to send this signal or the voice to the politician, to the bureaucrats, the governor, the inspector and other stakeholders, so that necessary step is taken before it is too late. Now, my dear children, you will see this particular poet. In this poem, the poet actually gives his political view. Now, we will see there are conservatives and there are Democrats. The view of the conservatives are conservative in nature, means they hardly welcome any changes, and the view of the other political party like the Democrat, their view also is democratic, means they welcome changes, they undergo changes and they are capable of changing and adjusting with themselves. Now, in the world you will see, so in total there are two political views, one socialism, other one is capitalism. Now, in the socialism you will see the property of the society is kept in the individuals, means the people. But in capitalism there is a free market and the state's property is kept in a particular person, not to the individual people. Therefore, the rich become richer and poor become poorer, and there is a big gap between the poor and the rich. Therefore, our poet Stephen Spender, who was the lover of human being, who was a pacifist, was a champion of the poor, gives his political view, and the political view was that he was a socialist. He was opposed to the capitalism. More particularly, you will see that at that time civil rights movement was going on in the USA. Civil rights movement was going on the USA or the United States of America, and in the writing of Stephen Spender, the echo or the resonance of that particular theme of the movement, civil rights movement, find expression. From there also we can understand that his view is socialistic view, that means his view is for the common people. Therefore, let us see now. So, we will be seeing the poem now. So, before starting once again let us see. So, the poems are different from the prose. So, what is the basic difference, can you tell? The difference is in the use of the language. So, how this language is used? Certainly, the language are the figurative language or the poetic devices. Many poetic devices are used in the poem, and that gives additional meaning to the poem, and that actually enrich the poem. Therefore, in this poem you will see many unfamiliar words are used, and for your convenience you will see in the screen, the words are colored. The words are sometimes reddened, given the red color, sometimes the green color, many colors are given for your convenience, and we will see each word and we will see the images and the symbol, we will see the additional meaning and the poetic devices that are used in the poem, so that we understand it better. So, will you start the poem now? So, let us start the poem. So, first let us see the first stanza. So, let us see the first stanza. Okay, now let us see the first stanza. So, the first stanza here you will see, far, far from the gusty west, these children's faces, like rootless woods, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper seeming boy with the raised eyes, the stunted unlucky ear or twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled diseases. His lesson from his desk at back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in a tea room other than this. My dear children, let us see now. So, what is the particular picture that is painted here? So, what is the particular picture? So, is the picture is a very pleasant or it is an unpleasant picture? So, then certainly you will see that there is a classroom, and in the classroom you will see many children are there, and these children are the representative of all the children of the slum area. So, in the last lesson, that is a Lost Spring by Anish Jang, we talked about the slum area, and the name of the slum area was Simapuri. It is a huge area on the outskirts or the border of capital Delhi. So, here also you will see a slum area school, and in the school what we see, so we are taken into the inside of the classroom, and we can see our flashlight is on the small children. There are, you will see there are, generally speaking, the faces of the children. Again there you will see there is a other tall girl, young tall girl. At the back of the dim class, there is another unnoted young one. So, here you will see all these children's conditions are very poor or pathetic. Therefore, first we will see the line by line meaning of the stanza. Far, far from the gusty were the children's faces, like rootless weeds. Now, let us see this meaning up to this. Here the meaning will be, so can you tell my dear children, so what is the poetic device or the figure of speech that is used here? So, here you will see the faces of the children are compared to the weeds. So, what is the meaning of weeds? Weeds is the unwanted grass. Okay, unwanted grass. Now, in the garden, so the gardener always take care of the garden, and then does he take care of the weeds? No, the weeds are uprooted. and therefore after uprooting, what happened? When it is in the sun, then it dries up, it withers, it becomes pale, it becomes ash like color, and therefore it is a totally unwanted thing, and finally it is burnt up to ashes. So similarly, we will see the children sitting in this particular classroom are the natural surrounding of this particular classroom is this is far away. This is the repetition of this line for giving to the emphasis, and it is told that yes, this particular surrounding or the setting of the school is far away from the natural surrounding where the children sits inside the classroom, and the condition of the faces of the children are very pathetic. They are very pathetic and looks like the unwanted grass. Means the faces are very pale. Means they are suffering from malnutrition. Therefore, they are as unwanted as the rootless grass or weeds. Now, furthering the discussion, let us continue. The hair tore around their pallor. So now condition, what the condition you will see. So when you are going to the sophisticated school with the modern amenities or facilities, you will see that the small children goes to the school and they tidy up with the beautiful dresses and shoes. But these children, you will see when they come to the school, their hair also is not combed. The hair is very untidy. The hair is very pale or pallid. Pallor coming from P-A-L-L-I-D, pallid. It is means this one is pale. So this hair is the indicator of the health. Hair is the indicator of the health. So as the hair is very pale or malnourished in the similar manner, their health also is not up to the mark. Therefore, just in the beginning or the introductory lines of the poem, the poet gives the bleak picture or the murky picture of the small children in the slum school, where they are sitting in the classroom, and their physical condition is so miserable. They do not get the proper nutritious food. They do not get the basic or the civic amenities of life, and therefore they look just like the unwanted weeds or grasses. Is it clear, my dear children? Now let us proceed to the next lines. The tall girl with her weighed down head. Now once again let us see another picture. See, this is the picture number 2. So in this picture we will see there is one tall girl. Now head is weighed down, means this particular head, this is small in size or big, small or big. Can you tell? This head is bigger in size. Now when the head become bigger? When the body does not get the nutritious food, when it is suffering from malnutrition, then the head become abnormally big, and therefore what happened to this tall girl? This tall girl particularly, she suffered from the malnutrition, and therefore her head went down. The head was so big, so heavy that it could not lift after the weight, and therefore it went down. Now my dear children, let us see that the next picture, very miserable or pathetic picture. The paper swimming boy with a rat's eye. Now see, another picture is here, a rat's eye. So Here you will see rat's eye. When this particular image of the rat's eye comes, so you come to understand that it is a lacking in confidence and as if it is searching for something. So, this paper seeming boy means the boy was so lean, so thin that it appeared to be just like paper. Means he was not bulky, he was not very fat, he was suffering from the nourishment and therefore he was as thin, he was so abnormally thin that he was just like a paper, and his eyes were all the time blinking, lacking in confidence and searching for something constantly. The stunted unlucky ear of twisted bones reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. Now see, my dear children, this is the third picture. So in this picture what we see is that one unlucky ear. Here means what? A person who inherits something. So supposing when your grandfather died, your father becomes the owner of the property of the father. That means he becomes the heir. But you see, in the case of the poor people, because of the poverty, because of the malnutrition, what happened? The father suffers the disease, and this disease is inherited. This disease actually goes down to the children, and therefore the child does not inherit, does not get the property of the father. He gets, unfortunately, the disease of the father. Therefore, he is referred to as being very unlucky. Now, let us see the meaning of this stunted. Stunted means undersized, distorted. So, we get the third picture. The third picture is the particular child who had been suffering from the gnarled disease or very notorious disease. A disease where the bone is distorted, and this child is not reciting the table of math. 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4. This table he was not reciting. What table he was reciting? He was reciting the disease of the father. That my father, because of you I am suffering from the disease, and he is constantly repeating the disease. That is inherited from the father. His lesson from his desk means he is repeating the lesson when he is suffering from the gnarled disease. At the back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrels' game in a tree room other than this. My dear children, now see, this is picture number 4. This is a picture number 4. So, in this picture, what we see is that we go to the back bench of the classroom. So, normally speaking, you will see in the back benches many cases the children who doesn't pay much attention in the class sit in the back bench, it is said. But here you will see in the back bench one particular boy was sitting, and he is a sweet young boy. The boy was very sweet. He was a very pleasant boy, and his eyes were very dazzling or bright. Was he interested in the lesson? No, not at all. Why he was not interested? Because he doesn't see any valid reason for learning. He doesn't relate or cannot relate this particular learning with his life, and therefore there is lot of distraction, lot of diversion for him, and therefore what he dreams, he is in other world and he is dreaming of the game of the squirrel. My dear children, have you seen the squirrels? Particularly during the summer time, what does the squirrel do? In the hollow of the tree, they gather the food just to sustain themselves, just to keep them alive during the winter time. Means the hollow of the tree is the storehouse for the squirrel. Sometimes they are coming out of the hollow, they are again going to the hollow. In this manner, the small children, what do? They begin to, or they constantly watch this play of the squirrel. And therefore, the child, when the teacher was teaching, he was not taking any interest, because this is not actually relative. Therefore, he was thinking of the game of the squirrel. Is it clear, my dear children? Then now let us come to the second stanza. Let us move to the second stanza. My dear children, you will see in many of the public sector schools, you will see that many part of the building are donated by the people. So similar is the case here also. You will see that inside the classroom there are many sign or the inscription written there, and some of the donations are also mentioned here on the wall. So what is the condition of the wall? Condition of the wall? The condition of the wall is very miserable. How can you get it? You can get it from the first few words. One sour cream wall donations. On sour cream walls donations. Means the wall was very sour. The wall was very sour, means the wall was very bitter. Sour means bitter. 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 Unpleasant. So the wall was very much unpleasant. Why? Because you may see that. So this color become very fading. So maybe it is not repaired for a long time, and therefore the condition of the wall was very pathetic or very miserable. And we can see many sign or the symptom of the donations. Donation word is coming from donate. D-O-N-A-T, donate. Means a gift, some gift is given to the public. And one of the donation is Shakespeare's hate, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities. Now see, Shakespeare's hate is painted or portrayed there, pasted there on the wall. So this is also a kind of donation. Now why this Shakespeare's head is donated? Why this Shakespeare's head is painted there? Because Shakespeare is not a human being. Shakespeare is not a simple human being. He is a symbolic of learning. He is symbolic of learning. Now the purpose of the Shakespeare's head or the bust, B-U-S-T, head means bust, B-U-S-T, bust. The head of Shakespeare was that, as a Shakespeare is the symbol of learning, therefore this head will inspire or motivate the children to learn their lessons and make their life beautiful. But was this purpose served or fulfilled? We will see to it. Cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities. Now, civilized dome, what is this dome? Dome is a particular structure that you can see attached to the churches and the huge building. So, in everywhere you will see there is this domes are there, and that actually is the symbol of civilization, symbol of the civilization. There is a belt, flowery and tireless valley. Tireless valley, okay, you see this tireless valley. This is a particular valley where you can see flowers and flower. Okay, this natural surrounding, that actually means that this natural surrounding, this is a picture of the civilization, the picture of the developed civilized country will inspire the children to learn and make their life beautiful, as like the tireless valley, as like the dome or the head of Shakespeare. So their life will be made beautiful just by being inspired by all these images, all these visuals. Other pictures are also there on the wall. You will see what are the picture on the wall. Open-handed map awarding the world its world. Open-handed. Let us see this word, open-handed. Open-handed. Now, what is the meaning of this open-handed? Open-handed means generous, G-E-N-E-R-O-U-S, generous. Open-handed means generous, very large-hearted, very large-hearted. Why this map is called large-hearted map? Because this map gives a true picture of the development of the world outside the slum. Open-handed map awarding the world its world means this world was giving the picture of the development that was there outside the slum school. And yet for these children, these windows, not this map their world where all their futures painted with a fog. Now, my dear children, let us see this fog here. Fog here means dim. Okay, misty, M-I-S-T-Y, misty. Now, the writer is telling the poet, who is the champion of the poor people, champion of the downtrodden people or the have-nots, raises his voice against the exploitation and against the differences in the society, and wanted to ameliorate or better the condition of these children, and therefore what he did. And yet for these children, these windows are not this map their world. For these children of the slum, it is this window is their world. ये जो मैप है, ये मैप रियली रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करते हैं, ये छोटे बच्चों को और स्लम का चिल्ड्रन को रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करते हैं. So only this particular world of the slum is represented by this window, because when you are looking through the window, then you can see the heaps and the heaps of the garbage, the stinking smell, and more particularly the unhygienic condition, and therefore you can see the slum area just through the window of this classroom, and that is the real picture of the slum, not the one that is presented by the open-handed or generous map. Am I clear, my dear children? Then let us move to the next stanza. Let us move here. So, just by furthering this discussion, the poet comes to the third stanza. Then we will see the more deplorable, more pathetic picture comes. The poet become more sad or pensive, because you will see here the kind of the world, and therefore the tone of the poet become bitter. The tone of the poet become bitter or aggressive, very harsh, because he cannot see, he cannot tolerate the pathetic condition of the children, and therefore you see a narrow street filled in with a lit sky far, far from rivers, caves and stars of words. Now let us see, my dear children, what is this stars of words? Stars of words. This stars of words is the words or the promises that is given by the politician. When does the politician actually give their words or the promises? Can you tell? Yes, certainly it is just before the election. Before the election, the politician will come and they will be giving very long promises, tall promises. Hardly these promises are translated, hardly these promises are realized. Therefore, this word, you will see the condition here is so pathetic that in this particular slum area, this is a devoid of, or this is a free from this long promises also, the tall promises also. Here the politicians also do not visit, asking for their vote in the election, and this is the particular world. The streets are very narrow streets, and the sky, the condition of the sky is, it is suffering from pollution. It is a lead sky. It is lead sky, means there is a lot of pollution. The sky is very dim. The sky is very dim because of this smoky sky. And it is far, far away from the rivers, caves and the stars of the world. And this particular world that we are talking about is far away from the natural surrounding like the river, caves. Caves is the particular extension of the land into the water bodies, and the stars of the world, or the promises of the politician. Now we will see in this stanza, the stanza that follows, we will see that the poet is little bitter, he become aggressive and he is unhappy, and therefore you will see he expresses his anguish or sorrow, and therefore he tells, surely Shakespeare is a wicked, the map a bad example, with the ships and sun and love tempting them to be still. My dear children, you will see Shakespeare. What is Shakespeare? Shakespeare was the symbol of learning. Wicked means what? Wicked means bad. Now, when the poet is telling Shakespeare is a wicked, into the exam the question will come, is Shakespeare really wicked? Then you will be telling, my dear children, when the poet Stephen Spender tells that Shakespeare is a wicked, he doesn't mean it. He doesn't mean that Shakespeare is a wicked. So why he tells Shakespeare is a wicked? Because the bust or the head of Shakespeare into the classroom never encourages or inspires the children for learning. Means the very purpose of keeping the head of Shakespeare into the classroom become very futile or unsuccessful. Moreover, the failure number 2 is the map. So you see that this map was a generous map, it was a very large-hearted map, and lot of development was projected or painted into the map, and the poet tells us, no, this is a wrong map, this is not the real representation of the map, this is a bad example. This is a bad example because of this map, because of this ships, which is again the sign of development, this sun, the open under the open sky, and this love, all this actually have a tempting effect on the children to steal. Means, so when these children will see that the outside world is so rich, outside world is flourishing like anything with the ships, domes, Tyrol is a valley, and depiction of the love and the depiction of the head of Shakespeare, this will have a negative impact on the children, and therefore what they will be doing, it will be tempting them to steal, means they will become thief or robbers. For lives that slyly turn in their cramped hole from fog to endless night, क्योंकि जो वास्तव जीवन है वो जीवन क्या करते हैं, स्लाइली मीन्स इन ए वेरी हाइडिंग मैनर, ओके, unknowingly, life that slightly turn in their cramped hole, so their houses are not houses, they are holes, okay, their houses are holes. Therefore, the living condition is that they are living in a very congested hole, not the house, and that is the practical life that comes to reality slowly and gradually, and from fog to endless night, and their life starts from fog or mist and ends in darkness or mistiness. Ends in darkness or murkiness, means there is no sun, there is no development, there is no shine in the life of these children. On the slack heap, these children were skin peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel with a mended glass, like a bottle beads on stones. Now see, my dear children, so some figure of speech are also used here. We will be discussing about the same. First, let us see the meaning, and then we can discuss separately also on the slack heap. So first, let us see the heap. It may be the heap of the garbage, the heap of the waste materials of the industry, the heap of the stinking waste materials. Slack, you will see in the industry when a particular metal is made. After the metal is extracted, then the waste metal is called the slag. Therefore, their existence is in the waste materials. Their life actually continues where, in a particular setting or the background where there is the unwanted waste materials, and there are heaps and heaps of it. These children were skin peeped through by bones. Now let us see the children's skin peeped through their bones. Peeping का मतलब क्या है? What is the meaning of peeping? Peep का मतलब है P-E-E-P, peep means looking with eagerness, looking with a lot of interest. So what is actually looking? The children's skin were peeping through the bones. Their skin were peeping means the bones were very much visible. When the bones become very visible, when the child is not healthy, then the bones become visible, and therefore it actually once again repeats or recurs the same idea that the children were suffering from malnutrition. They were undernourished. Again, you see that the economic condition and the spectacles of the steel with a mended glass like bottle beads on the stones. You see, as they did not have money to buy the basic or the civic amenities or the facilities of life, therefore what happened, as they could not provide them with the nourished food, therefore what happened, they lost their eyesight in the small age, and therefore they were wearing the spectacles, and the spectacle, when the glass of the spectacle is broken, then it was mended. Just imagine this picture, when the glass will be mended, glass of the spectacle will be mended, how will it will look? how would it look like? So, it will look like bottle bits on stone. Bottle bits. So, this particular picture actually look like the bottle bits on the stone. Bottle bits on the stone. So, when there is a wall is made of the stone or the bricks, on top of it some bottle bits are put there just to prevent the thief to enter or just for additional security. So, in the similar manner, the mended glass, particularly the spectacle with the mended glass look exactly like the bottle bits on the stones. Have you got it? Therefore, once again another simile is to use, and in this simile the part compares the spectacle of the poor children, the slum children with that of bottle bits on the stones. All their time and space are fog slum, so blot their maps with the slum as big as a doom. My dear children, what is the meaning of doom? Doom means the doomsday. Doomsday. Have you heard of doomsday? What is the meaning of doomsday? Doomsday means the particular day of the judgment, when all the part of the world, when the world will be destroyed, and there will be judgment for the people. That is called the doomsday. Therefore, so here the writer actually implied to what? Big. So, blot their map. So, that the poet is of the opinion that, so you are keeping the map here inside the classroom. The map is not their map, because it does not truly represent the condition of the small children in the slum, because their life start with the stinking smell of the heap of the garbage or the slack waste material of the industry, and their night also is a very foggy. Therefore, if you are blotting the map with a doom, as far as possible, if you completely erase this map and put a doom there, particularly if you put the slum there, then it will be the true representative of the map of the small children in the slum. Therefore, this is the suggestion given by the poet. Now, my dear children, let us come to the next stanza. So, here we move. So, now finally, you will see as the condition is given in the 3 stanzas above. Here you will see that the writer gives some suggestion, and the suggestion may be in the form of the imperative. He may be giving some suggestion or the order. Certainly, he will not be giving the order, but he will be giving some implied suggestion, so that the concerned authority take care of the condition of the slum, and the condition of the slum children become better, and the country become a really prosperous country. Therefore, now the poet in this stanza tells, unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these are windows that shut upon their life like catacomb. Therefore, the poet now is giving the implied suggestion to the concerned authority, if the governor, if the inspector, if the visitor to this particular area, if they do not take care of the condition of the slum children, then what will happen? This map becomes their window. Their condition will be developed only when the governor, inspector and visitor come, improve their condition. Then only this map that is written here on the wall become their map, become their window, become their true representative of their condition. Not this window through which when one is looking outside, he can see only heaps and heaps of garbage and slugs. Is it clear, my dear children? That shut upon their lives like catacombs. Now see, let us see this part. And these are windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Catacombs means the graveyard, underground graveyards. So these particular houses, the houses that they were living, the houses that the slum children were living, they were again compared to two just by using the simile of the catacomb. Their true picture of their living condition is given, and therefore the poet tells that really their living condition is really pathetic or miserable, or it is quite unpleasant, and therefore he gives some suggestion. Break open till they break the town, and show the children to the green field, and make their world run azure and gold sands, and let their tongue run naked into the books, the white and green lips open. Now this part is the suggestion. So the suggestion is that so you break the door open, and then go out of the slum. Go out of the slum, and the governor, inspector, and the other concerned authority, if they do not take care, then what will happen? A day will come, they will be breaking the doors, breaking the windows open, and go out. And therefore the suggestion is to the concerned authority that before they break down the window, what you do? You take necessary step, take them out of this slum area, take them into the open sky under the open air, and make their life beautiful when they will be running, hopping, jumping into the sands. Okay, you just take them to the California beach. You just take them to the natural rivers, caves, and the others, so that they can have their enjoyment, and they can learn in the free atmosphere, and let their tongue run naked into the books, the white and green lips open. Now that the writer here talks about the importance of the education. He tells that in the confinement of the slum area, the children cannot learn, and therefore they will have to be taken outside into the natural surrounding where they can learn beautifully. Only those children, those race of people who are learned, can make their history. The illiterate or uneducated people hardly can know about their history, and they cannot make their history, and therefore finally the writer comes to the conclusion just by telling that history is theirs whose language is the sun. History can be made by those race of people, those people only who learn their language better, and through their language they learn the knowledge of the country, gather all sort of knowledge of the land, and they become developed, and they create their own history. They can keep their name into the sand of time just by becoming educated. Therefore, indirectly, the poet Stephen Spender gives the message to the concerned authority that they will have to take care of these small children, because education is very important. They should be made educated at par with the developed children, so that they can contribute to the economy of the country and the development of the country at large. So, my dear children, this is the last part of the lesson. So, there is some important things, there are some striking things here. So, I will be reading out this part, and you will have to do assume, you will have to do assume this part. So, here you see. So, my dear children, these days, so lot of importance is given to the international standard like PISA examination, where MCQ of different type are asked, and NCERT has given some questions, PISA type questions, and I will be reading it out, and you will have to understand what will be the answer of the same. Think it out. Take the item which best answers the following. A. The tall girl with her head weight down means the girl, number 1, is ill and exhausted. Number 2, has her head bent with shame. Number 3, has untidy hair. What will be the answer? Certainly, head weight down means it is ill and exhausted. Therefore, the right option will be option 1. Number 2, the paper seeming boy with a red eye means the boy is sly and secretive, thin, hungry and weak, unpleasant looking. What will be the answer? The answer will certainly be number 2, thin, hungry and weak. The next one, the stunted unlucky ear of twisted bones means the boy has an inherited disability, was short and bony. The answer will be has an inherited disability. Number D, his eyes live in a dream, a squirrel's game into the tree room. Other than this means the boy is full of hope into the future, mentally ill, distracted from the lesson, distracted from the lesson. Last question, the children's faces are compared to rootless weeds. This means that number 1, they are insecure, they are ill-fed, they are wasters. So, the answer certainly will be they are ill-fed. Okay then, thank you.